All right, speculation continues to swirl around the White House tonight over who wrote that anonymous op-ed piece in the New York Times. The president is now calling on AG Jefferson Beauregard Sessions to launch an investigation, and Vice President Pence says he's willing to go a step further and take a lie detector test.
Should all top officials take a lie detector test, and would you agree to take one?
I would agree to take it in a heartbeat and would submit to any review.
I don't think it was Pence who wrote that piece. Pence knows that all he has to do is just sit there and nod politely, and there's a very good chance he's going to be our next president, maybe in a few weeks. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders says there will be no lie detector tests administered, despite the fact that a new Quinnipiac poll finds that 55% of voters believe the article's claims. This comes on the eve of an explosive new book by Watergate reporter Bob Woodward that drops on shelves tomorrow. People don't buy books anymore. But despite all the chaos, the president says everything is just fine, tweeting, quote, "The White House is a, quote, smooth-running machine. We are making some of the biggest and most important deals in our country's history, with many more to come. The Dems are going crazy." So is this the beginning of the end, or just the end of another bipartisan, rather, hit job on the president? Joining me now, Fox News national security strategist and former deputy assistant to President Trump, it is Sebastian Gorka. Welcome back, Dr. Gorka. Also, the author of the forthcoming book, Why We Fight. Sir, what do you think about the author, the anonymous author of the New York Times op-ed?
As I wrote in The Hill today, Kennedy, that person is a coward, that person is committing sedition, and that person does not work in the White House. It's clear that person knows nothing about the inner workings of the Oval Office. They quote people who have been in meetings with the president. This is some snowflake leftover holdover flunky from the Obama administration, somewhere out in the wilderness of the government. My sources say it's a female in the intelligence community. But don't worry, there's a 4-star Marine Corps general who's released the bloodhounds. General Kelly will find this conspirator, this seditious coward.
Yeah, you're really using your small words tonight, Dr. Gorka. I'm just wondering, how important is it to find this person? Is this the kind of story where you could just let it blow over and we'd be fine?
No, you can't. I mean, this person has committed a crime. This individual, if they are a government employee, if they really exist, they took an oath of office, just as I did. In this article, they admit, Kennedy, to creating a dual-track presidency. Well, hang on a second. The Founding Fathers didn't create a dual-track presidency. There isn't the one track of the president we elect, 63 million Americans, and then a self-mandating secret bureaucracy that decides to sabotage the person who's been chosen by the Americans. That's criminal. That's sedition. Sedition is very simple. It's in the Merriam-Webster. It is the covert or the overt attempt to undermine a lawful authority or constitutional order. And as of 12 o'clock on January the 20th, 2017, Donald Trump became the lawful executive authority. So, no, this isn't just an op-ed in the New York Times. This is an important criminal act, and this individual has to be made an example of.
I know, but this person also claims to be conservative. You know, you say it's an Obama holdover, and also kind of claim to be male. I don't care either way. No judgments, man. I'm a libertarian. But what I'm wondering from you, amorality was obviously a known quantity when most people who voted for the president pulled that lever. Is amorality underrated?
Well, not for the Democrats or the left. I mean, having sex in the Oval Office didn't seem to be a problem for them. But again, there's no concrete examples. And this person isn't a conservative. Listen to what they say. If you read the letter very carefully, the author talks about his party, the president's party. Well, hang on. If they're a conservative, it's not his party, it's my party, right? So this is clearly a left-winger, this is a snowflake, and this individual has problems. There's no, what are the concrete charges? There's nothing.
How upset is Bob Woodward that everyone is talking about this anonymous piece still, but there's no great claim in the Woodward book so far that has made total media or cultural purchase?
Well, there won't be any great claim. Kennedy, you have more access to the White House than Bob Kennedy. The average American citizen has more access. I never saw Bob Woodward when I was in the White House. This is a book about the Trump administration written without access. And the fact that this man has done again what he's been doing for 30 years, which is to act like a sycophant to all his sources, but then never, ever reveal their identities, never footnote his sources. It's a work of fiction. It might as well be Harry Potter, and he might as well be quoting Dumbledore.
Don't you think that whoever's in charge of the First Lady's press office should almost be in charge of the White House, since there are no leaks from the First Lady?
I think the First Lady isn't a threat to the establishment left-wing and right-wing business-as-usual political class. Donald Trump is the disruptor. She's an amazing First Lady, beautiful, elegant, but she doesn't pose an existential threat to the swamp like the president does, and that's why you see this leaking. I saw it myself.
That's what she wants you to think. She is Eleanor Roosevelt in a Gucci shirt.
Yeah, in her Ferragamo pumps. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly right. Dr. Gorka, thank you very much for your time.